Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Below Average Wild podcast. I'm Austin,
I'm Nick.
and we have so much to cover tonight. We're going to obviously start out with the disappointing loss last night to the San Jose Goblin Sharks, where Nick, we gave up a 2-goal lead in the third and lost it in a shootout. What are your thoughts on the game?
Well, I just I get stuck on former players of any type of Minnesota sports team.
Mhm.
Example, yesterday, Stefan Diggs, and then last night in our loss to the Sharks, Nico Sturm, who now has 6 goals, I believe. And I wrote this down. I predict that he'll be a thorn wherever or whenever we play him, like whether he's on
Right.
the Sharks or not. And we'll talk about this later, but that goes for tomorrow's game against the Nashville Predators against Mikhail Granlund and Niederreiter. Just any former Wild players, they just tend to kill us, and I hate it.
Yeah, you're right. It's a reoccurring theme, and I don't know why,
Not that
but
it was
when
like
we've
completely him, but yeah, go on. Sorry.
right, right. But when we play teams where we have former players, I'm not like, that sucks, whatever. But last night, for some reason, it just pissed the hell out of me. It's like this is not okay. Now, if we
It's
would
like
have won, it would have been a different story, but it's like, why do you have to be that person?
they're
You
just
know?
it's like an annoying thorn. Just
It is. And who was it? It was the
do
line was Sturm, Benino, and Cunnin.
Yeah,
And
of course. All three forwards.
Right, right. And I read something last night where Sturm was joking that the three of them are saying that, oh yeah, the Wild just didn't care about us, they dropped us, and then they come back to Minnesota and beat us. But obviously it was, he was joking. But you're right about tomorrow though. Is it gonna hit again? And those are Granlund and Niederreiter are my two favorite Wild players ever. So it's gonna
Are they really? I don't
probably
think I knew that.
yeah, tomorrow will be tough. And I love Zucker.
Zucker,
But
yeah, I love Zucker too.
yeah,
He's a good guy.
but we'll see. We'll see.
No, wait. So all time favorite Wild players?
I would say Granlund and Nino, when Zook, but I mean,
Marion Gabrick, Mark
I
Parrish,
love
Minnesota's
all of
own
them.
Mark Parrish,
No, I like them all. It's just
Richard
I don't
Park.
tell Clutterbuck. Clutterbuck was cool. I liked
Clutterbuck was
Clutterbuck.
good, yeah.
Yeah, but no, my first ever Wild jersey was Nino Niederreiter jersey, and
I remember that jersey. I know that jersey very well.
yeah, but I think for him it was the game seven against Colorado
Oh, that
in the
was
playoffs,
I
the
mean that yeah,
overtime
that's
winner.
true. I agree with you there.
Uh,
That's an all-time wild memory for sure.
Right, right. Ben for Granlund, I just loved his playmaking. I mean, his puck skill is out of this world. And uh, yeah, so tomorrow is going to be. I've actually always enjoyed watching the Predators play, especially when Granlund went over. So obviously rooting for the Wild, like f off Predators, but
Yeah. I mean, they're a great team. They've always been one of those scrappy teams, whether they have the players or not. I mean,
mhm.
I'll admit on NHL, any of the video games, I always play as the Predators online because even if
Yeah,
their ratings are bad, they still seem to have, the like your Granlund or Bonino is also a Predators player. Just they seem to be always in the mix.
right,
Um,
right.
and I've actually been to Bridgestone Arena, and it is a great arena. I will admit, it's a
That's
great.
right. You went with our friend, right?
I did, yeah.
Tyler?
I went with
Yeah.
Tyler, yeah, our friend Tyler, yeah. I don't know who we
Jeez.
played, and I don't know if we won or not, but it's right on Broadway, so
So that sounds like the most successful game,
yeah, yeah,
right?
exactly, yeah.
That
Not
I'm
remembering it at
jealous.
all. I just remember that the arena itself it's a pretty arena. It's a lot. It does remind me somewhat of the XL, just
Mhm.
in
That,
I'd say in a much more populated area compared to St. Paul,
mhm.
though, being
Oh, well,
being the
you said it's on
bachelorette capital of
Broadway.
the U.S.
Yeah, yeah. And okay, so you said it's on Broadway. I remember walking by it, but it's isn't Jack Daniels, they have a bar right attached to the arena, right? Is
I
that what it is?
I
Or there's
think
a
so. If not attached, like really close to it, it's like right down the
okay.
street. If not,
Yeah, I think it was that one. But I remember walking by it, but I also remember being back in Minnesota when you and Tyler were at that game, and I just remember how jealous I was because I was back in the tundra and you guys are having drinks in your hand, and
I'm
yeah,
not gonna lie. Yeah, it felt good to get away from when we were living in Minnesota to get away from the snow, which I might add, this is unrelated, so I don't even know if we'll keep this in, but can I just add that we're both living in warmer climates and we just noticed that it was snowing in Minnesota today and
which
we are
sucks.
comfortably in, I mean, it was raining here in Texas, but it was
Mhm.
still high 40s. I was still wearing just this hoodie to work. It
Oof.
was much more comfortable, I would say, than being in the snow and possibly slipping and sliding around 35 or whatever highway you drive on.
Right. Yeah, I we had a high of 65 here today in Phoenix and
That's
blue
so
skies, which
nice.
is nice. So but that's gonna be a change for me in a couple days because I'll be in Italy and it's supposed to rain a few days and a high of like 50 in Rome and then 50s in Venice and Florence. So it'll be a little chilly, but
So what's the
better than
temperature?
snow.
What do you think the temperature might be in Switzerland while you're there?
While I'm in Switzerland. Well, yeah, funny story about Switzerland. Nick, do you want to talk about our little thing with Rossi scoring?
Yeah, so besides the fact that we all know that Rossi's going to score tomorrow night, let's just get that out of the way right now. Marco Rossi will score his first NHL goal tomorrow night, 100%. But
Salute.
well, I should say first, if and when he does score, well, actually, no, you won't be there yet. I should say if he doesn't score tomorrow night and he scores while you are in uh wait, are you going to Germany first?
No, I'm going straight to
You're
Rome.
going straight to Rome. Yeah, yeah. So if
Yeah.
you're if you're in Rome while he scores, then by law, international law, you have to go to Switzerland where Rossi formerly played and visit all of the bars that he went to.
And then
If he
just get
was he even
belligerently
young enough?
drunk.
What was that?
And then just get belligerently drunk.
Yeah. I think in
But
honor
what's
of
the drinking
Rossi.
age over there?
That's what I was
If
gonna ask. Like, was he even old enough to drink over there? He's
isn't it
so
like
young.
12 or something?
It probably, but I mean, the drinking age over there is like 12, so I think he's fine.
Right. Yeah, he's good. You know, he's cheersing everyone. He's probably drinking a bottle when he came out of the womb. I want whiskey.
Give me a McGolden.
I
Like, wow, you
don't
all
want your oh.
oh no, I was gonna say I'm like he's all the way in Switzerland, but or I think he was born in Austria, but anyways, he's like all the way wherever he's growing up as a kid, and he's just like, I want to make golden as if he knows what a McGolden is, all the way
That's
across the
a
pond.
true gentleman. And that's why he needs to score. And I really hope, and Nick and I were talking about this before we started the podcast, but if he freaking scores when I'm in Europe, I am gonna flip a tit. I am gonna be so pissed off because I'm not gonna have cell reception. We're not gonna buy the Verizon pass because we're kind of doing a unplugged from everything. But
How dare you not watch a game? How many games are
hey,
you
I'm,
gonna
I'm
miss while you're over there?
uh
Couple?
I'm missing Thursday's game because I'll be getting on my connecting flight in Philly. I'm missing Saturday, Wednesday, Friday. Oh boy.
That's a lot. That's a
Four
lot of. You're missing basically like half the season. Unacceptable.
half of
Just kidding.
82. I think yeah, four is half of 82.
Yeah, well, yeah, white bear math.
You're right though. I mean, if I was I should be better,
Yeah,
right?
well, I mean, okay, it's if it's not half the season, which it is, it's still a crucial part of the season. I mean,
It
we're right
is.
now we're 7-6-2. We finally have a winning record, and this could be the time. Like we're getting our injured players are coming back. I mean, Greenway's still injured, but Duhaime, as we talked about before we started recording, could come back
Yep.
tomorrow in Nashville. Um, but we're getting back to full health. we're finally figuring out our defense, and as we talked about, we have to figure out our offense now. And what, just go on a
Yeah.
streak. What if we go on a streak of like 4-0 while you're gone? That
Maybe
means
I
we
should stay gone.
yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. Like, maybe you should just stay in Europe until we lose. Maybe that should be a possibility. I would just leave it open,
I think I think my employer wouldn't like that. B, I think my family would miss me and my friends. I'm hoping you'd miss me. Um, you bitch.
I would miss
Yeah,
you. I would miss you 50%. Half of 82 is 4.
let me add, screw off. But let me add that so with the cafes in Italy, they do have Wi-Fi. So I could sneak away for a quick 3-hour coffee break.
If the Wild go 4-0, you don't have to stay in Europe, but will you continue to not watch the games? Because until they lose, like you could keep up on Twitter
Yeah, okay,
and
I'll do that.
Facebook and stuff,
Deal.
but okay, deal. Great.
Deal. Virtual handshake. Okay, so you heard it here. If the Wild go 4-0 when I'm in Italy, I will come back stateside and not watch a game until they lose. Watch, they're not going to go like 70-0,
They just
which is great for us, and then
yeah,
go into
that's
the playoffs.
wonderful.
So,
That would be the weirdest good luck charm that the Wild could have.
that would be weird. That'd be so upsetting.
Yeah, no, I was listening after last night's loss to the Sharks to Dean Evison's post game, and he called it a dumb loss, which I agree. As I
Mhm.
alluded to earlier, in our first couple games, in our first 5 actually, we gave up 27 goals in our first 5 games. And we've only given up 17 goals in our last 10 games. So how, Austin, can we figure out how to pick up our offense after? And not that our offense was necessarily terrible last night because we still had 2 goals, but I feel like we had a lot of chances, but we couldn't put it home.
I think what they need to do is they need to split up Zuccarello and Kaprizov. And here's why. They are playing way too fancy hockey. And the Wild are, I think Evison had said it last night, but the Wild, I mean, they're a good team, a good enough team, but Zuccarello and Kaprizov need to understand, like, they don't need to showboat every game. And if you recall last year at this time when Kaprizov and Zook weren't doing anything really for each other, they split them up for a game or two or something, and then it just flipped a switch, and then they were unstoppable. So I think in order to ignite at least Kaprizov and Zook, they need to split them up, and then that'll create production from the other lines. Matt Boldy has been having a quiet couple games here, and I think if he gets paired with Kaprizov or Zuccarello, I think that'll kind of open him up a little bit too. But I think just flirting with the lines a little bit more and just playing around with them, may bring that productivity that we've known to love for the Wild. So I'm thinking that's the big step. And I think once that happens, we'll start to see the productive Wild that we saw last year with all the goal scoring and
I
such. But
agree.
what
I
about
agree
you?
with all of that, except I hope that they don't. And I think Evison alluded to this after Friday's game, I believe, or some game last week, where he said he doesn't want to tinker with Dewar, Rossi, and Shawline, and I completely agree with that. So if they
Yeah,
split up Zook and Kaprizov, as he said, as
it'd have
long
to
as
be
they
the top
don't
two
mess up
lines.
that line.
So it would then have to be the top two lines, right? They would just have to. So if they put
Yeah, they could do
Kaprizov
like a
with
flip
Boldy, they
flop.
would just, yeah.
Yeah. Put
That's probably
Boldy
the
up.
smartest thing to do then,
That yeah, I would like that. And then
right?
if Duhaime comes back tomorrow, put him back on the 4th line because Cramoroso is already booted back to Iowa, and then yeah, and again, and speaking of Duhaime, that'll be a boost because before he got injured, I mean, he was having a great start to the season.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't know. Tomorrow's weird. Like you had said earlier, it sucks, right? Playing against a team that has two of your former players where there's a good chance they're going to want to come back and bite you in the ass. And I can see that happening tomorrow night. But, when we play Nashville Leaping Gazelles, that's the nickname by the week or by the way for them.
A good
I don't
nickname.
know
Shout out
for all of you
Zootopia.
listeners, Zootopia. They're called the Nashville Leaping Gazelles. That's their nickname. I'm sticking with it. Uh, I don't know, Nick. I something needs to change with the Wild, but I don't. I see a loss tomorrow. I'm sorry.
I know, I completely agree. I think that, like you said, the revenge tour, even though Granlund and Niederreiter had that those trades happened a long time ago. The
Hmm.
revenge tour of former Wild players continues tomorrow, and
Hmm.
like you said, like we can shake up the lines a little bit, like at least with Zook and Kaprizov, but I feel like if that happens, that'll take maybe a game to get used to, and then after that, they come back home against the Penguins, and I think they have a much better shot there. Even though Nashville is 6-8-1, and as we were talking about before, I always think that they're just a scrappy team, no matter who's the coach and no matter who's the players. It feels like, and this is not based on logic at all, but just personally, just a feeling. It feels like that squad is just always in the mix for whatever reason. They just find a way, and that's a lot like the Wild. They tend to find a way
Hmm.
most most times. But I agree though, not tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't even know what I want the score to be, but it sucks, right? So it's kind of like what's the old saying? It's like the devil and angel on the shoulders. Like you have the devil saying like, "Oh, the Wild are gonna lose tomorrow," blah, blah, blah. And then the angel's like, "But Fleury said it's gonna be okay." So you just don't know because Fleury, like you had mentioned before, Fleury's been out of his mind
Oh
lately,
yeah, he's
and
been great.
it is vintage Fleury, right? So do we continue to see that? Because again, like you had said, our defense is playing. What did you? It was like 17 goals in the last 10 games.
Yep, 17 goals in the
Something.
last
Okay,
game compared to 27 in the first 5 games,
that's nuts. I mean, that's
according to
right there.
Russo.
You see how our defense is flopped. But again, what do we do to make that offensive productivity come to play? And I don't know. It's gonna be a low scoring game. That's my prediction, but I think it's not going to go our favor. I think Fleury is going to have another night where he plays out of his freaking mind, where he's making over 30 saves.
Yeah,
Um,
I can see a 2-1, 3-1 loss.
I was going to say 3-1. That's what I'm
Yeah.
feeling.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I mean, if they whether they change lines or not, I think it'll take being on the road. I mean, although they have been better on the road than they have at home so far this season. I don't have the exact
That's
stats in
true.
front of me, but
That's true.
that's kind of a crazy stat line that I don't have.
Yeah. Yeah, no. It
But
is. And it's what?
go ahead, go ahead.
I was going to say it's kind of sad though, because Nick and this is our third podcast, and but when we don't do
Fourth.
podcasts, we still talk about our fourth podcast. And what sorry, and what we don't talk podcasts, we still talk about like when we were in New Orleans, we talked about projections on the games and the upcoming games and our thoughts on the past ones. And I think this is the first game we've talked about where we both are like, yeah, they're gonna lose.
We try to have optimism. We try to keep it positive most of the time, but I
Yeah,
feel like we're realists a little
we
bit.
are.
I feel
I
like we're
think so.
mostly, high on our own supply of Minnesota Wild fandom, but once in a while we come back down to earth, and I feel like this is one of those times.
Right, but to defend ourselves though, we're two happy young men who love our team, who want the best for our team. So if the Wild go 81-1, we called it. So,
I don't
but
know
they're
if
not going
I,
to.
I don't know
It's
if I
there's no
mentioned this
chance.
before we started recording, but I did mention it in a previous record that we didn't go with. So we messed up, but it is crazy that the Wild have less wins right now after what, like 15, 14,
15,
15 games.
15 games, yeah.
Have less wins than the Minnesota Vikings, who are now 8-1 after last night's crazy win over the Buffalo Bills. I'd be remiss
That
if I
game
didn't
was
mention
super
that.
boring. I hated that game. I wish I could get back 3 hours of my life. I hated it
I
every
mean, if
second.
you ever want to, like, if you have a hard time falling asleep, you can just put that game on, you know?
Yeah, it was not entertaining at all, and I feel bad for my 10,000 take buddies that were there because what a crap game to go to.
Did guy who looked like Kirk Cousins, did he get tased? That was a good bit. I like that
Yeah, he
one.
had a rough time in a bar, but
I
it's all good. We have fun. So
That's the point. It's so much
it
fun.
looked like a fun time. So, and he broke a table. So Kirk Cousins jumped on a table after the game,
Yeah, he didn't wear chains, but he broke a table. Take that, Buffalo.
right? Buffalo has no chance. I did see though, and then we can hop back to the Wild, but I did see that I was watching the Monday Night Football countdown, and they're now saying that the Vikings are a serious team. And it only took them X
You know,
amount of weeks.
yeah, it only took them half the season. That's all. And
I
even then,
really
like,
hope though it's
no, I was
you
just gonna
go.
say, even then, they were still talking about how the Bills lost on like ESPN today compared to rather than the Vikings winning, which is
Yeah,
crazy to me.
it's what it is. And it's you know what I worry about though is what happens if we won that. I mean, we're what are we at? Are we 7 games in a row now we won? Yeah,
Yep,
7 in a row.
7 in a row. Yeah.
I just pray. I really do. I hope and I pray that the Vikings do not pull a true authentic Minnesota sports team where they bring up all of our hopes and dreams. And then next week, who do they play? Dallas next week?
Yep. Who lost to the
Yeah.
Packers in overtime yesterday?
Yeah. They go and play Dallas and they poop their pants and then they start losing games. I don't want that. But I have this horrid feeling in my stomach
I
that
mean,
that's going to happen. But
okay, to bring us back around to the Wild, and I agree with completely with that. And not that the Cowboys are a bad team. They're 6-3 right now, but I feel like that's definitely a trap game, if not, our second meetings against the Bears or the Lions. The Bears are Fields is getting better for sure, but the Lions
yeah.
suck. But any of
Mhm.
those could be a trap game for sure. And
Right.
circling back to Nashville tomorrow, I think that is definitely a trap game. Well, is it a trap game though?
It's
They're
tomorrow's
they're a
so
good game. They're
tricky.
like not bad. They're not a bad team.
No. Tomorrow's tricky.
It's just a confusing game to me. I am very
It is a
puzzled.
confusing game. I does Duham play? Do they switch up the lines? What happens?
What do we
It
do tomorrow, huh?
it
Gosh.
makes zero sense. And I don't know. I might for Arizona time the game's at 6 tomorrow. I know for you it's at 7. I'm literally gonna be packing and watching this game and out of pure confusion. I don't know I don't know. I might just switch over to packing for how hard my head's gonna hurt or how bad my head's gonna hurt from watching. I don't know. 3-1. We're losing.
I'll go 2-1. 2-1, 3-1. It's an unfortunate road loss, but then we'll come back. Like we said, what the? Did you hear that? The wires.
Yeah.
Anyways, below average wild podcast. 3-1, 2-1 loss tomorrow, but then we come back home against the Penguins on Thursday. Penguins right now, as of this recording, are 6-6-3. Another average team, and I think we'll definitely bounce back then.
Yeah. Well, we have to start getting these home wins. Last year we were one of the best home teams in the league and one of the most mediocre away teams, and now it's just complete opposite.
Flip
We're one of the
flop.
best road teams in the league and we're one of the most mediocre crap home teams. So
It's like an ongoing puzzle. Like not only the home and
it is.
away differences, but the offense and defense. We just can't seem to link both of them up. like and well defense and goaltending and offense, all three of those.
Right.
Just you just need them to, put them all three of them together and just have like a couple complete games. That would be
Right.
lovely.
Yeah, it's like that 1,000-piece puzzle that you're so excited once you bought from Target. And then you get home and you put it all together, realizing that the stupid manufacturer only gave you 999 pieces.
Oh,
And then you're stuck with that last piece, like, well, what the hell is this? Is this the Wild offense having a good game? Or is it the Wild defense having a good game? Is it Flurry having a good game? Or is it Flurry having a bad game? It's stupid.
I mean that's an appropriate analogy because I absolutely hate puzzles. They are the bane of my existence. I get so frustrated. So I
I've gotten
applaud
better
10
with
out of
them.
10 analogy because that was I even like a 10 piece, like if I don't get it solved within like 5 seconds, I will rip like each piece up into tiny little pieces and then burn it in my fireplace that I have right next to me.
So you're literally, I just picture you with this 10-piece puzzle. You get it, you open it, and you're like, "Ah, come on. Ah, mm."
I mean, yeah,
Is that
it's like you've watched me do a 10-piece jigsaw puzzle before.
I also remember you were drunk when Alyssa and I started living together and you came over with Cord and destroyed our puzzle. That took us like 2 freaking weeks and we weren't even done with it.
I
Oh
resent
wait,
that.
no, we
Yeah, I was
lived
gonna say
together and Alyssa came
I
over.
challenge that story. I don't think I did
No, I
that.
challenged it too. We lived together. Alyssa and I did the
Yeah.
puzzle at our place, and then you, Cord, myself, and my brother, Tyler, were there pre-gaming, and then all of a sudden it got quiet, and I looked over and you and Cord had bug eyes looking at me when the puzzle was half on the ground.
So
That's what it was. It was around
yeah.
Christmas.
So what you're saying is that it's debatable who actually did it. It's a cold case.
It
Or do
was
you
our other
blame or
friend,
do you find someone do you find someone guilty, Judge Lundeen?
Cord.
Yeah, let's throw Cord under the bus. He's never gonna watch this anyways.
He's not gonna
Screw
watch
you,
it.
Cord.
You
How dare you get
idiot.
rid of that? How dare you mess up that puzzle?
It's the one thing that I had in life, and he ruined it. Just kidding. Love you,
Well,
Cord. Miss you.
he's never gonna watch this. A
He's
hockey
never gonna watch
podcast.
it. No. So yeah, like Nick said, I'm gonna be on a flight to Rome, so I'm gonna miss a few games. But Nick is gonna be throwing out a podcast on his own, and also he's gonna be sending out good content on Twitter. Which, if you do not follow Nick on Twitter, it's at NickLens22. So make sure to follow him. Nick, what's my Twitter handle again?
At Austin_L. You can follow all of his and his wife's adventures in Rome if you're gonna be
Yes,
posting on Twitter. Or
I'll try to.
if you're posting on Instagram, what's your Instagram?
Oh boy, I haven't used Instagram in such a long time. I think it's at.
Oh,
Just search Austin Lundeen with an A. You'll find me. But no, it's gonna be a fun trip. I'm gonna miss all of you guys, all 10 of you viewers. Make sure to follow Nick. I'll try if I have Wi-Fi to throw out a wild tweet or something like that. I'll definitely share some sort of funny video that I'm uh getting a lot of crap for, but I love doing them. So I'll send that out. But yeah, follow Nick. Make sure to watch the podcast that he sends out. But
yeah,
yeah.
go wild.
Go Wild. Cheers to you, Nick. Cheers to the Wild. And thanks for tuning in. Boom.